Yo, what up, people? Smith still motherfucking are here today, of course, and we're gonna talk about Shingeki no Kyojin, the final motherfucking episode, episode 25. Now, in this video, I do not know how long this shit's gonna be. I mean, because I might have to do an entire series overview, by the way, because fuck it, why not? This anime deserves it because it is a very good anime. So we're gonna fucking talk about it. If I do decide to do it, then this video will be very fucking long. We'll see. We'll see. Now, and so it starts off, of course, with this flashback of the previous episode and punch in the face, yeah, round you, bitch. Like, yo. And I noticed something that I didn't notice last week's episode. After he punched her, he started staggering like this. And I'm like, yo. Like, yo. You see that? Like, bitch. Yeah. Like, yo. That was the shit. That was the shit. Okay, but anyway, let's start off. Okay, so after the opening, of course, which is still pretty much the same opening, this is when stuff gets like, yo, we just see this fucking church. And all these people are just gathered around this giant ass circle. While these like three dudes are just over here and they're like preaching the holy text of the fucking walls. Like, yo. And then they talk about how the gods are sent from walls. And I'm just like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, come on, do it. Yo. When you see a fucking church of people who are all about like Titans have never entered the walls. And then I heard that fucking shake. I was hyped up. I was hyped up. And then you just see the female Titan just fly into all these people and just crush them. And I'm like, oh. Yo. That was my favorite part of this shit by far. All these people were like praying and thanking God for the walls. And they were just like at the happiest point in their life. And all of a sudden, boom. What was that? Bitch, you're all dead. Like, there was this one motherfucker that managed to stay alive in the entire group. And he just looked at her. Yo. And then Aaron came by, and Aaron, like the rest of them, he killed a lot of people, Aaron, by accident, just by running after this bitch. Oh my god. Yo. And then round two started. Fucking armor, and yeah, crystallized, and fucking fighting, and I did enjoy the fight. Like, yo. Aaron in his internal monologue about Annie never liking like anything. She just seems like she's nowhere really. She doesn't give a fuck about anything. But then when it comes to like martial arts, you can see that she actually does. And it's like, why do you act like that then? You actually have something you actually care about. And that was a very, very, very good moment. But and then the fighting started. And like the rampaging, the destruction of the entire fucking city. And this, like, yo, like there were certain fucking scenes that I remember from that shit. And I'm just gonna, because basically the whole Aaron thing versus female Titan was pretty bold, you know, it was just like, basically Aaron was getting his ass whooped, but he was coming at that bitch no matter what the fuck it took. Nigga lost an arm, didn't matter. Nigga lost both his legs. He was still crawling after that bitch with like fire and shit. I was like, oh, he was ripping that bitch like, yo. He was fucking her up. Like, yo. Like, she was fucking him up. But Aaron didn't give a fuck. He was still going. Like, she was doing all the mad damage and blows to Aaron. And Aaron didn't care. He just kept going, ripping the bitch's arms off. And I'm like, oh. Like, he didn't give a fuck. He didn't. And Aaron even said at the end of the episode that at one point he wanted to die. He didn't care. He was just enjoying the fighting so much. And there were a couple of scenes that I gotta throw in there. Besides all the fighting. Because I'm not gonna describe all the fucking... No, fuck that. That takes too long. But all I'm gonna say is, that was shit. You guys saw it, so you guys should know. That was the best. Like, yo. Like female Titan tried to kick Aaron, and she, like, kicked him in the jaw. And he just kept on, like, biting down. And she just started pounding the nigga's head in with her fist until he let go. And you just see, like, this fucking, like, bloody stump of a head. And then Aaron's like, ah! And I'm like, yo! He just, literally, this dude, like, is, like, crawling after her and all that, and just running. And, like, most of it was, like, a fucking chase scene. Like, legit. It's like, legit, it was a fucking chase scene. Like, and then we get these, like, scenes throughout when they're fighting. And there's, like, this one scene where, like, Every time they punch or kick each other, you just see this giant amount of force go throughout the entire city. Like legit, like just waves of force and kinetic energy just flying off of their punches, destroying blocks of the city. Like not like, but like with wind wise, like the roads and shit, like just blowing right through that shit, like just blowing all types of dust and shit. I'm like, yo, that's badass fighting. But no, it didn't stop there. Cause of course, Irwin, this motherfucker, he was basically like, you're I should execute your ass right now. Why shouldn't I? And Irwin started speaking, and we just see this scene of like massive dead bodies. And then you just see this one little girl walking and crying, walking throughout all these dead bodies, just covered in blood. Not like completely covered, but she had blood on her face and shit like that, so she saw some people die. And that was what they chose. And everyone's like, I know people are gonna die. I do. But are you gonna take responsibility for this? You can kill me if you want. And he was literally giving niggas orders like, okay, you take care of the ammo and shit. You round the troops up. Go get them over to that east wall. Like, legit. He's like, now fucking kill me. You take over. I'm doing this for humanity. And like, yo, like there were scenes where just people were just getting mad killed. Like you would just see some people like cowering in the streets, and the female titan would run by. Just they're all dead. But nothing hit me harder than that first scene when you see all those motherfucking church people like just praying for the walls, like thank you for keeping the titans out, and then they all get crushed by a fucking titan. The irony behind that death was probably the strongest, like in the series. Like all these motherfuckers are like thanking the walls for keeping them out, and then they get killed by a fucking titan mid fucking like prayer. Like yo, that's fucked up. But second is definitely that little girl. Second is definitely that little girl. That little girl was just walking. You just see like the area was just like destroyed, and there were like dead bodies everywhere, and she's just crying and walking through it all. And third, of course, is my favorite because it was just like, yo, you just see like this lady and this other person running, and then you just see these fucking rocks just come and they crush their ass. Like, yo, I couldn't help it. Like, yo, they damn. That was third. That was third for just deaths. Like, yo, like the fucked up moments. Those were the top three. Like, yo, that's like, whoa. And then, of course, we got the main part of the anime, which is basically he's like pulling the bitch down, and she sees Eren. Eren, he's like literally on fire. He grabs this bitch's face and he starts crushing it, and she is screaming out in pain. And then she manages to break off of him, and she starts crawling up the wall. Eren would not, like, literally, this dude got like a stump for an arm, and he literally just jumps up after that bitch with like one leg, and he bites her leg off. Oh, but no, that's not the worst part. No. Then in comes Mikasa. Yeah, Mikasa finally did some shit. Some good shit. Bitch had her fingers armored up so that she could actually put them into the wall and climb up. Which is actually something that we gotta talk about. Because during like the midway point of this anime, there was a nice little story that went by. And it's pretty long. It's like 2 parts. They're right back after each other. You should probably read it. I'll give you a brief synopsis if you already did, or if you didn't. You want to just basically know. It's about this miner that was in the poor section who spent his entire life trying to dig underneath the wall. And then, unfortunately, when he finally hit like really deep down, like the biggest hole he ever made in his life, it turns out that there was still wall there, and he couldn't break it. And then one day he went missing. And then his friend, who he told about the entire thing, went searching for him. But they could never find him. And then one day his friend went missing too. And the whole thing about it is, if you think about that and you think about the ending of this anime, which I will definitely get in. Yo. I'll bring that up later. Just keep that in your mind. Like this miner, he tried to break into the rich side because he hated his life and he mined for years and years and years. And then him and his friend both went missing on different times. Like maybe his friend found his hole and then went down there and then something happened. But no. What the? Why do I have to listen to these motherfuckers' music? Tell me that. Fuck it. Anyway. And then this is when shit gets like, yo. She's climbing up the walls with her fingers. She shakes Aaron off by giving him her leg. And then in comes Mikasa like, no bitch you don't. And she cuts off her fucking fingers like right there, like at the perfect point where they're not armored. And that was some smart shit. And then as she's falling, Mikasa gets on the bitch's face, looks her in the eyes and says, fall. And I'm just like, yo. And throughout the entire time, we're seeing flashbacks of Annie's fucking past and her like father, or whoever this dude is. And he's basically saying and reinforcing Annie's like whole motivation, like I failed you, and I'm sorry, and you have to be evil to humanity. You got to give it up. You have to destroy, like all this weird shit that basically forged Annie's thing. And again, since I saw fucking stars and mounty areas, like I'm gonna say that it was outside the walls. We don't know. And I even have a feeling, and why the fuck not, since the anime's over, that might be Aaron's dad, or something with Aaron. Someone with Aaron is connected to Annie, and I want to find out what it is. And it could be that one motherfucker right there, could connect to Aaron's dad, which could connect to Aaron. We don't fucking know. Anyway. Then she falls down, and Aaron, he just goes in for the fucking kill. He's just ripping this bitch's head off, and she's just fucking her up. And then after he takes off this bitch's head, decapitates her ass, he just fucking bites in, and you can see her. And Aaron, he fucking like lost himself almost. And then comes one motherfucker. Because, by the way, Erwin is seeing all this, by the way. Like, the bitch's arm literally lands right in front of Erwin and grabs onto the fucking, like that fucking bridge, like, legit, like, yeah, and just sticks there. I'm like, yo, that's funny shit. Like, what? How'd that happen? I don't fucking know. But the thing was, when we see, oh my god, y'all, when we see Levy just come out of nowhere and save Aaron from killing the only person left, because they started, like, fusing and shit, and it was, like, basically her last moments or some shit, and it was, like, really weird. I get what happened, but it's harder to explain. You gotta watch this shit. Basically, Aaron starts fusing with Annie, and then he gets saved by Levy. He's like, you almost ate the bitch. And then it turns out that you just see these giant fucking like skeletons, and Annie is just covered in that hard ass shit. And she's lost, basically. They can't get to her. We see that scene of this Jean just fucking stabbing the shit out of that, and nothing's happening. So he can't get in there. Everybody knows she's stuck in there. They basically lost their only chance for, you know, basically to, like, because their female titans now basically, like, useless. They can't get to her, and she might be in there for life. There's no way that they can open it yet. And so they're basically, she's useless now. And then we get the ending, which is basically Erwin's trial, like, for all that he did. And basically, he even realized that it was like a failure. It was. But the thing about it was that this failure did do something. I mean, if Aaron wasn't there, everybody would have fucking died. Everybody. Like, think about it. Like, if Aaron wasn't there, picture how many people the female titan could have killed if she wasn't fucking fighting with Aaron. I mean, she probably would have just ran the fuck out, but they don't know that. I mean, basically, Erwin's basic defense was, if Aaron wasn't here, she would have killed a lot more people. And do we know that? Well, most likely, I would say that's a possibility. It is. And I think it's kind of like a bullshit excuse too, because Erwin knows that. I don't know if he knows exactly, but Annie's character, I don't think that she really ever just massively killed like civilians. I mean, has she? No, she hasn't. So, but that was smart by Erwin though. And then basically he described what their goal is now, and their goal now is to basically eradicate all the fucking titans that are posing as humans, like, you know, like Annie's, like Annie basically. They're going to eradicate the entire like organization or whatever of people that can transform into Titans. They're gonna hunt their ass down like a holy fucking purge, and they're gonna purge these motherfuckers from their walls and kill their ass. And I love that. I love that. And then we see like this thing that's like basically Erwin and Aaron like indefinitely. Like they don't have to go back there for anything. Like indefinitely. It's like it's canceled indefinitely. Like yo, you guys go do your shit indefinitely. Don't ever come back. You don't got to. They got humanity's permission. They got humanity's backing now to do this mission. And I really enjoyed that. And then like that very last scene where we see Aaron looking at that key and we know exactly what season 2, if they made it, would go towards. Them trying to get to that basement and them finding and killing people that could transform into Titans. And that was, of course, the shit. But then, and this is where I tie back into the whole mining thing with that miner. In that little like short story in the middle. At the very end, we see like the claw prints that she made. And then we see a piece of it break off of the wall. And inside of that wall is a Titan. Whoa. No. That's big. Why is that so big? You may ask. Why is that so big? Because there's a Titan literally in the wall. Made up of one of the inner walls there is a Titan. And these walls are so hard. And so it begs to differ exactly where the fuck did these walls come from. And it opens up all these questions that we could get answers for next season. And that would help explain like the story with the miner. Maybe he managed to break into the wall and there were like a Titan in there and he ate his ass. We don't know though. That's the problem. We don't know. We can only assume. But when I saw that face of that Titan, it blew my mind. It really did. And it ended up making this episode just so much more. The amount of anger and rage and destruction and peril in this fucking episode, in the cold-heartedness of Erwin to do what he has to do in order to save people. You have to be cold in order to make these tough decisions. When it comes down to, I could push this red button and destroy all of them, but then I'd be killing millions of innocent people, or they could push their button and kill all of us. It's one of those type of things. And Erwin's a dude that will destroy them. He will look at the odds. He will assess them, and he will do what is right for him and his people to continue to live. As you could say with the whole nuclear crisis thing, sometimes you gotta be a motherfucker that can push a button. But that's a very bad thing, because you're also destroying the world. So fuck it. You're giving up your own humanity, in a sense. And so this episode, 9.8 out of fucking 10. Oh yes. It was everything that it needed to be. It was near perfection. I want to give it a 9.9, but it just doesn't feel right. And I don't know exactly why, but I feel like they missed something important in this. That was something that should have been explained a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I just feel like there's something missing in this episode that they should have shown. I don't know why, I just am. And that's personally why I can't give it a 9.9 out of 10. I gotta give it a 9.8, because it just feels like it was missing one scene or something in there with like Annie and her father that helped like break through, because some of it you got, some of it you didn't. Like some of it was like, I'm so sorry, and then other things like, it's you against the world, baby. And it's like that whole part with Annie, it helped clarify her reasoning, but it didn't give it enough reasoning. And now her character's basically dead unless Aaron finds out how to armor his hand and then break through it. But the odds of that happening, well, it's high odds, so we'll see. But Annie needed a little bit more development in my case. A little bit more, and it would have been perfect. It would have been a perfect episode. Because Aaron, he was, yo, Aaron, his fucking face. Ah. In the series overall, all 25 episodes, I'll do a quick overview. With all of the chaos, despair, and horrific aspects of this anime, if you had to give it anything in terms of anime, it would be like a 9.8 out of 10. Yes. I know it's the same as the episode, but that's for a reason. This anime as a whole is like near perfection. It's not near that 10.10. It has a couple ways to go, but it's pretty perfect. It just has little things in it that's like, like little gripes in there. Like every now and then that just break it off that perfect level. But besides those little tiny gripes that aren't explained a little bit too much and need a little bit more explanation, like for instance, I'm bringing up episode 12. I mean, it takes one thing to make it not perfect. You gotta realize that. That's why I can't give it. Like for instance, episode 12, we see like Annie coming down, and then there's a female Titan like going up, and you gotta wonder how the hell she cut off his head from like the front. Like how did she stab him? And it doesn't make sense, and they never explained it fully in detail, and so that's a problem. So with that being said, peace, the fuck out. Comment, like, subscribe, and all this shit. It's Mr. Motherfucking R. Have a good day, and Attack on Titan. You'll be missed.